Hey y'all, Bridget Bartlett here with Vision Marketing and Design, and today we are live inside of our team training where we are live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today what I'm going to show you how to do is automate your customer billing process. Okay, so this is going to be a fully automated solution from Stripe. We're going to use Pabbly, and then we're going to send that data to HighLevel. I'm going to show you how to organize all of that and make sure that everything is automated so that you don't have to worry about if someone wants to cancel their subscription, or their payment fails, or a payment is made. Okay, so those are the three main transactions, because really when they first sign on, they are creating that account at that point, and then of course you have onboarding info that you send them and all of that, right? But in the after that process, we need to have a way to automate a lot of those transactions. Okay, so I do want to say hello to Ray, who is joining us from Corpus Christi. Hello, Ray. Thank you for joining on YouTube. Okay, so I am in my test account of Stripe right now. And before we get started, one of the best things that you can do, obviously, is create a customer portal. I have detailed training on this, but just real quick, what you want to do is go into your settings here. You're going to get a customer portal, and then you can configure this however you want. And then, of course, you have your billing link there, right? But the problem is that even though the customer gets access to the billing portal, what if they go here and cancel? How are you going to know? You're not going to get any notifications. What if their payment fails? And then when they make a payment, maybe you want to update the account. So I'm going to show you the way that I have found to make this process really, really simple. Okay. Now, the first thing we need to do is, after you've created your billing portal, what we need to do is utilize Pabbly. Okay, so we're going to create 3 different workflows in Pabbly. One of them is going to be when someone cancels. One is when the subscription fails or the payment fails. And then the other one is a successful payment. Okay, now you do have access to these workflows I've shared with you in our knowledge base here. All you need to do is search for automated billing portal, or just search the word billing and you'll find it. And then here are the workflows. If you do not have Pabbly, you can create a free account here and then utilize the workflows. Okay, so inside of your customer portal, or once you have your Stripe account set up with your customer portal, you will see, actually, let's go into Pabbly first. Let's start with the canceled. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, once you have imported these, and of course these say test, yours will say shared. I just didn't want to get it confused with what I shared with you. Okay, so let's start with the canceled. So this is what we want to happen when someone cancels a subscription in Stripe. Okay, so you'll see here that there are some instructions, and again, there's also a step-by-step guide inside the knowledge base if you need more help. But what we want to do is we want to choose Stripe as the first step in our workflow. Okay, and of course you need to turn this on to make it work. Okay. We're going to choose Stripe. We're going to choose canceled subscription here, and then we're going to grab the webhook. Now, if you do not have Stripe connected to your account, what you're going to have to do is, as soon as if you don't have Stripe connected, as soon as you choose Stripe, it's going to ask you to add your key. Okay, so what you need to do is, let me go into Stripe. You're going to go into developers, and you're going to go to API keys, and then you're going to click here to reveal the live key, and then you're just going to paste that in, and that's what connects your Stripe account with Pabbly. Okay, so once you have that connected, you'll be able to do this workflow. Most of you guys are already using Pabbly and Stripe, and you probably already have it connected. It's really not hard. Just follow the instructions if it prompts you to do that. Okay. So there are also instructions here for how to use this webhook. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to create a endpoint, is what it's called, inside of Stripe, and then we want to have it triggered when a canceled subscription happens. So I'm going to click here right now to copy our webhook, and then now what we need to do is go into, and actually I'm going to click here to recapture the info because I'm starting over just like you guys would. Okay, so we're just gonna, now it's waiting for the webhook response. As soon as you click that, it's going to say waiting. And what that means is it's basically Pabbly is like, hey, we're ready to go. We've got this, I've given you the webhook. As soon as it's set up and we have information, then we will map it out or we will have it available for you to use, right? So what we want to do now is you can actually just click here and go into your Stripe account and it will reveal your webhooks, okay? What we want to do is create a new endpoint. And these instructions, let's go ahead and log in. These instructions will tell you what to do. Go to the webhook settings. You could just click there to go there. Click add endpoint to reveal the form and add a new endpoint for receiving events. Copy the webhook link above and paste it in the endpoint URL field. Okay, so copy, go back to Stripe, and then we're pasting it into the endpoint field. Okay, copy the webhook. Okay, we've already done that. Now choose this event. Now what I like to do is copy just to make sure that I have the exact event that it told me to choose from the select event. So I'm going to go here now and I'm going to choose select events and I'm going to paste that into the field here. If you don't see something come up, it's probably because you have a space somewhere like that. That happens when you copy. Just make sure there are no spaces. And once you have the exact event, you're going to click here to add events and then add endpoint. Okay, so now what we've done is we have connected our Stripe canceled subscriptions with this webhook. Okay, so it's going to trigger this webhook whenever a subscription is canceled. All right. Once we've captured that info, we'll be able to use it down here. Now, what I could do is I could put Stripe into test mode here, and then I could go to my customers, and then I could create a subscription, and then I could cancel it, and then I could do that. But what I really want to do is make sure that all of the info is correct, right? Because what I need to do is create tags. So here is a little hack for you. So I'm going to go to sites. I'm just going to create a new funnel. Let's just call this test because really I just need a page to embed a form on. And then we're just going to call this test and test again and create funnel. So I'm just going to do create from blank. And now I just need a full width here. And then now we're going to add a row. I'm just going to do this here. And then now what I want to do is add a one-step checkout form. And I definitely am going to hide all these things because I don't want to have to fill it all out. So I'm going to hide. We don't want shipping address. Okay, so now I'm just going to save. All right. And then I'm going to go back here. So now we just have this checkout form. Now I need to add some products. So all of the products that I want to test, they've already been entered in here. And the ones that we set up for you are with the stars on there. So I'm just going to choose all of these and save. So I have ElmLink Legacy, ElmLink Pro. These are all the tools available for resale. So I'm going to choose Elm Optimizer, Elm Legacy. Just going to choose all of these plans real quickly. Elm Optimizer Pro. And I'm going to choose Elmatic Legacy. And then we're going to choose another one. So let's say Elmatic Pro. And then I think there's one more. So we're going to choose El Messenger. Okay, so these are all of the tools that we have. Now, if I go back to this page and I open up the live version of the page, you'll see now I have this great page for testing because I can just select which tool that I want to use and do the test transaction. One thing you need to make sure that you are doing is this is in test mode. Okay, so let's go back now. I'm going to refresh this and we should be in test mode. Let me refresh again. Because it will say, there we go. That's what you're looking for. It will say test mode, okay? So now we can actually create a transaction. Before we do that, want to make sure this is spinning and it's ready for us to go, okay? So let's create a test transaction. I'm going to say Jane Doe, and let's say info plus Jane Doe. Actually, let's say John Doe, because I already did a test with Jane Doe. I just want to make sure that there are no conflicts at myvisionagency.com. Now, if you do an email, that you have, and you put info plus, or whatever the beginning of your email is, and you put plus and then put a name there, that will ensure that you actually get the emails if you have emails that are being sent when you're doing any type of testing. So this basically is like an alias for info@myvisionagency.com. Okay, so I like to use that when I'm setting up client accounts and things like that, because then I know who that email came from. Okay, so that's a little tip for you. All right, so we're in test mode. Now I need to enter a test credit card, and this is going to be 42424242. This is for how Stripe does their testing credit card. And I'm going to say it expires in 2039, and let's just say 555. Okay, so now I'm going to complete the order here, and it's going to spin. And then since I didn't send it to a thank you page, it's going to come up with a little warning here that said it was successfully placed, but something went wrong. And that's just because I don't have a thank you page, which is fine because this is not a live page. So now I need to go back to Stripe. And if I go here, I should see my data. Let's actually go off of this here. And let's go back to payments. Oh, maybe I do need to be in test. Oh, actually, let's go back here. Oh, we got to cancel. Okay. So I'm going to go to payments, maybe in test mode. I have to be. Okay. So did we just do that one? Let's look at the page. Yep, it was Link Legacy. So here is my transaction. Okay. So remember, this is in test mode. Okay. So it's not a live payment. But now to make our canceled subscription happen, what I want to do is and this is a great lesson for you guys just to know how to manually cancel a subscription. You just go to the client and you go to the tool, and you can actually just click here and then do cancel subscription. Okay, so I'm going to do it immediately, and then I'm going to choose cancel subscription. I'm going to go back to Pabbly now, and it should pull in all of my data. So I'm just going to give it just a second here to recognize that transaction. Let's refresh. Okay. I'm not sure why it is not canceling. Okay, so it says canceled in there. And now it should have my test data. So let's go into, okay, Link, and we have that. So it created the subscription, and it does say canceled, but it does have this little, okay. And it's still spinning. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's go in here. We have this Legacy, succeeded, Jane, John Doe. All right, so that is really strange. I don't know why. So let's just do this again. Let's create a product here. I'll show you another way of doing this. I'm going to go to, here's my test customers, and I'm going to create a subscription here. And let's go, let's just create, let's do this one here and start test subscription. Okay, so now we have that. Now we need to cancel immediately. And if we go back to Pabbly, it should recognize my canceled subscription. It is so funny because this is so weird. I don't know why this is not. Let's add our webhook again. Is this turned on? Okay, it's turned on. Sometimes I like when these things happen with you guys because then I can test with you. Let's make sure, for one, that our Stripe account is connected to the correct. So I'm going to choose Stripe. Let's make sure it's not connected to my live account. I'm going to choose this, and then let's look for canceled subscription. Okay, so we have our webhook here, and let's do this again just to make sure. So I've copied my webhook. I'm going to go back here, open up the webhook, go to add endpoint. I'm going to paste my webhook here. I'm going to go back to Pabbly. I'm going to grab this here. And we'll go back and select events, paste that here, add events, and add endpoint. All right, so now we want to go back to our customers or our, yeah, let's do this customer here. And let's do create. I just want to make sure I'm in the same. Okay, we'll say this and we will start our subscription. No attached payment. Okay, so let's add a payment. 42424242. Okay, 39,555. Add. The request was in live mode but used. Oh, why is it saying I'm in live mode? Exit. Oh, okay. Back in test mode. So we have payments. Well, the subscription was created. Now let's get in here and let's cancel. Okay, so it says canceled. Now let's go back to, let's add another subscription to this person. And let's say it's this one, start test subscription. And then we want to cancel again. Okay. So let's go back here and it should pull in the data. Okay. I have no idea why it's not pulling this in, which is really ironic because I was just testing this all morning. So I'm not quite sure what's happening here, okay? But let's move on. So we have the Stripe retrieve customer by ID. And what you need to do is you need to pull in the information. We'll just use this info, okay? So we'll pull in the information from here to map the customer ID, okay? So that is going to be, if we scroll down here, it starts with CUS. And let's scroll down. We could actually even search for it if we wanted to. Okay. Let's look for, you can actually search here. So we can search customer. There we go. So CUS. So now we've mapped that. We're going to do send test data. And now we've pulled in the data, okay, from this customer we pulled in, okay? So now we have this data and we can map it out and do what we want to do with it, which we're going to send to HighLevel, which is lead connector, okay? So the first thing we want to do is map out the email address, okay, that we had to use the second step to retrieve the email address from Stripe. Okay, so now we have that email address. And then here is really where the magic is going to happen. Okay, now to create a tag, and I love to have all of my workflows start with tags. It just makes it so much easier because whether you're doing it manually or automated, it's a really simple process. Okay. So this tag here, you need to make sure whatever tag you want to use that you put between quotation marks, and there's a little guide down here to tell you. And if you wanted to have multiple tags, you would do comma, and then quotation mark, your tag, and then quotation mark again. Okay, so follow this guide down here. But for this, what we want to do is create a tag called canceled, and then it has semicolon, and then there's a space, and then we want to map the product. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight everything between these brackets. Okay, and then I'm going to replace it with the product that we have inside the product name here. Okay, so now when this person cancels their subscription, it's going to tag their contact with canceled semicolon space Link Pro. Okay. So that's how that works there, all right? And of course, to test this, you can do save and send test. And then you'll see this info here for this person. So if I go into this account now and I go to contacts, you'll see my that test transaction here, okay? And this was the test data that came in that we tested. And you see that it is canceled Link Pro. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to go to our automations and we need to create an automation that starts with canceled Link Pro. Okay, so you can actually go through here. So let's just say canceled Unlink Pro. And this starts with the tag. Okay, so canceled unlink. Now, what we want to do is we want to remove the Unlink Pro user tag. We can create notes that say canceled Unlink Pro, and then we can send an email to ourselves to say, hey, heads up, someone canceled Unlink Pro. Okay, so you definitely want to do this, for a few months until you have, every time you get this email, you want to verify, that they did cancel and that all of your automations worked appropriately. Okay, so you can actually go into the contact as well, and you'll see the tag or the notes here. Okay, so it did not trigger the notes there. Oh, because it didn't tag that. That makes sense. So here's the thing with this, okay? So I created these automations for you guys, okay? For the payment made, the payment failed, and then the canceled link. And I talked about this yesterday. But what you need to make sure is that these tags have to be exact, okay? So there may be times that you need to come in and change the tag. If you've changed the way that it looks in Stripe, or you've even added a space, that's going to change the tag, okay? Now, this isn't a complicated thing. It just means that you need to make sure. For example, if I change this tag, like you can see when I actually did my test, the tag was a little different for this account, okay? Now, this should be the default tag. If we have set your system up for you, this should be what your actual tag is. But if it looks different for whatever reason and it doesn't work, you can see contact tag, failed payment. This is the actual tag, okay? So if it's different and you need to edit it, all you need to do is go to settings and you need to go to tags, and then you're going to search for the Elm link. I think it was this one. And you're going to click here to edit, and then you can just change that tag to whatever it is, okay? Just make sure that when you do change the tag and that you update it, that you go back to the workflow and go into canceled Elm link and make sure that that new tag was selected here, okay? So it sounds like a lot of steps, but it's actually, once you get a good flow, this is actually a really, really simple process, okay? So that is the basic process for the cancellation, okay? And keep in mind, you can add anything that you want here to this, okay? You want to remove them from your sales pipeline? Do you want to send them an email? There's lots of things that you can do inside of here. Do you want to remove access to a membership area? However you want to build this out is totally up to you, but this is set for you in the snapshot, okay? And again, if you guys have already loaded the snapshot and you want the up-to-date version, go ahead and you can reload it. I'm not quite sure once you load it into a HighLevel account if you can refresh, but you could definitely reload it and just go to load snapshots, and you're going to choose the Cloud Key snapshot, which is here, and proceed. And then you're going to skip everything. The only thing that you need is to go to the workflow, and then you're going to choose everything that says failed or payment made. Okay, so failed payment, payment made. These are the two folders for all of those. And then you just need to go through and make sure to choose all of the tags. So here's one that says failed payment, failed payment. So I'm just going to select all of these that say failed payment in the beginning, and then you'll see the tag payment made. So then you just want to select all the ones that say payment made, and then this will eliminate you from having to, reload the snapshot and add all the extra stuff that you don't really need. Okay, and then you're just going to click proceed, and then it will load everything for you. I'm not going to go ahead and load it, but if you click proceed, it will load those new assets into your account. Okay. So let's talk now about what happens when a payment is made, okay? What I like to do when, with my payment made authorizations, let's go back to the test. Oops, not failed. Talk about that in just a second. So let's go back here to test and payment successful, okay? So what I like to do, first of all, you're going to choose Stripe. You're going to choose payment failed. You're going to click here to copy the URL. We're going to go back here and create an endpoint. I'm going to click endpoint. I'm going to paste this. go back to Pabbly, and now I need to copy payment intent, payment failed, and I'm going to select from the events here and add events. And then I'm going to add endpoint. Okay, so now I have added the webhook there for the failed payment. Okay, so I'm going to do the thing is with the failed payment, it's really hard to test. You kind of just have to, and I did a training yesterday about how your system is set up to manually notify you if a to make sure that a payment did not fail at the end of the subscription. So definitely check that out if you're looking for something more simple. Okay, but once you create this and then you capture the data there, you're going to do the same thing here. We're going to map out the email from the customer ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all of this. I'm going to go to payment failed, and then I'm going to pull up the customer ID, which I'm just going to search to make it easier. Customer. Here we go. And then I'm going to do save and send. Now I've captured all of this info from Stripe. Now I'm going to go to lead connector, and of course I want to look up the person by the email address. So I'm going to choose that there. And then what I want to do is add a tag here. So this is payment made, colon, and then a space, and then the name of the product. So what I want to do is I want to override this information here, and then I want to put the name of the product that they actually purchased, because that's going to be creating a tag that says payment made, colon, space, and then the name of the product. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here now and look for the name. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, we want to go to payment failed, not that one. Okay, so where is the name? Oh, ElmLink Pro. There we go. So now it's going to say payment made, ElmLink Pro. Okay, so that is our tag that's going to be created. I'm going to do save and send, and then now we have all of this info. Now, what I like to do with this step here, and first let me show you the automations. Okay, so in the payment made, you can see I have that automation here, and the product we're looking at is ElmLink Pro. So let's go back. So we have payment made, and then we have ElmLink Pro. Okay, now you can see that nothing is here. Now you may decide that you want to put something here, and what I actually like to put is notes. Okay, so you can add notes here as an additional step, or you can add notes in this workflow and just let yourself know basically that a payment was made. Okay, so you may want to, in the testing process, you may want to notify yourself, but you could also just go to this is my favorite thing, go to notes and then just say payment, or actually you could just copy this, payment made, copy and paste. Let's do without. There we go. So now we have that note being made. So what's cool is every time someone is tagged with this, it will actually show up inside of their account in the notes section. Okay. So what that allows you to do is if there is some discrepancy in the account, you can actually see a tally here of all the different transactions and everything that's been happening if you add notes in all of your workflows. Okay, so notes are definitely something that I love to utilize. Okay, so that is how you want to do the process of the failed payment. Okay, you basically just need to wait until a payment fails, and then you can use that test data. So when you're running this, or you're waiting for that to happen, make sure that this is spinning so that you can capture that information when it does happen that you have a payment failed. Okay, so that is the payment fail. Now let me also tell you, if you go into the automations and you see that tag again, let's go to payment failed. And then this tag is a little bit different on yours, or maybe you just want to change it up or however you want to do it. It's really easy to do. Just make sure, again, you just go to the settings and then you go to your tags. You find the tag that you want to edit. You edit it by clicking the three dots, and then you just make sure to update that automation and make sure that that tag was updated. Okay. So now we've talked about successful payments and failed payments. Let's go back here to test. And then now, or I'm sorry, we talked about successful and canceled. And then did we talk about, I think I got payment failed. Okay. Stripe payment failed. Again, what we want to do is, I think I got those two confused with what I was working on here, but let's go back so that I can. Okay, we talked about canceled yesterday. We talked about payment made and then payment failed. All of these are the same process, you guys. It's basically just making sure that the tag is correct. And then when you are running those transactions, just make sure that you are testing and verifying. Okay. And then, of course, make sure that these are turned on. Okay. So you're going to set your endpoint exactly the same. You're going to retrieve the customer ID so that you can use the email address. You're going to map that out here, just like I showed you. You're going to do from the retrieved option here to map out that email, and then payment or failed payment, and then map the name of the product. This is so important because if you don't do this part where you do like failed payment and then you choose the product, what you're going to have to do is create a workflow in Pabbly for every single product. You're going to have to create the 3 workflows for every single product, which is way, way too much. Considering if you're using tags here, this makes it really easy, okay? Because not only in the automations, but if, let's say that I am talking to Jane Doe here, and Jane Doe maybe she canceled, right? So I could say canceled, and then I could see all of the tags here. So if it's canceled Link Pro, then I can just tag that, and then it will trigger that automation. So now if I go to my automation for canceled Link Pro, canceled, and then canceled Link Pro, and then I go into the history here, you see that John Doe is actually, he was in the history. Okay, so then I can see he did go through that workflow, and all of these things should have taken place. So we should have a note here that says canceled Link Pro. So let's now go back to John Doe's account and then look at the notes. And then you'll see canceled Link Pro plan, and then the date and time that it happened. Okay, so that is why I love to start everything with tags and run that through my workflow, because they're going to receive the appropriate information based on that tag. Okay, so hopefully this has clarified this process. I know that it's really confusing, but as you start working through all of these automations, you will see that it's actually really simple. And since everything is the same, it's just the 3 workflows, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to manage everything. Okay. So again, these workflows, sorry that I don't understand why this wasn't testing. I think it's because I have so many accounts and things. But if you do need these workflows, just go into our knowledge base, search automated billing, and then you can create a free Pabbly account, as well as grab those workflows from the page here. So I do see McCall is here, and Janai. I see awesome troubleshooting skills, by the way. Thank you. King says, hey, Bridget, the live content you give weekly, how would I sign up and change affiliates if I'm already part of one? You can actually sign up for our program, whether you are a HighLevel sponsored by us for HighLevel or not. However, our program is free if you are one of our affiliates. And if you want to sign up for the free training and tools, you can go to bridgetbartlett.com and check that out. So thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Go make your vision a reality. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us for today's training. If you have any questions, you can join us for open office hours starting right now at bridgetbartlett.com. It's free and open to everyone, so I'll see you there.